One of the exciting new inclusions in Drupal CMS is Drupal Canvas as a next-generation page layout engine. But there's still a few capabilities that we're waiting for. For example, multi-value props, entity reference support, image style support, and support for additional media types. These are all on the roadmap and being worked on, but if you're using Drupal Canvas today, these are things that you have to wait for. Fortunately, there's a brand new contrib module called Canvas Field Component that allows you to make use of some of these capabilities in your content templates today. For our demo, we're going to see using the Haven site template along with a couple of recipes. So the events recipe to provide an event content type, as well as the events location recipe so that we can see that entity reference content. We're going to see a couple of additional fields specifically to demonstrate some of those currently missing capabilities. So here is our default display of a content type using events. So we've added a hero field as well as the when and where fields. Those are provided by our event and events location recipes, as well as demo video and supporting documents fields to show the ability to use additional media types as well as multi-value field values as well. Now, if we go into our Manage Fields interface, we can see that we have the body, when, and where fields. Those are provided by the recipe, as well as demo video, hero, and supporting documents fields to provide some of those additional capabilities. If we go to the Manage Display tab, we're going to see a prompt to create a layout with Canvas. So let's go ahead and do just that. Now we're going to add a template. So we're going to select Event and the full content and create our template. Now we have our blank template to use. We can see exactly how that's going to look with the default site header and footer. And now we can go into the component library to start adding some components. We'll begin by adding a heading. So we'll drag that in. We can map the title field to the value that will be displayed in our heading. We'll make that an H1. And in a similar way, we can add a text component and have that display the value from our body field. Now we start to have some challenges. Some of the other fields that we want to place, we could potentially map into values for things like image cards, but we wouldn't be able to make use of things like image styles or in particular things like responsive images. On the other hand, what we can do is make use of the new field display component that is provided by the Canvas Field Component contrib module. Now, if we drag that into our layout, so let's drag that in here, we can say, let's use that to display the when field. And notice that with that selected, now we can select how we want to configure that using the provided options in the selected formatter. So in this case, we can see maybe we want to preview how that would look with or without the duration. We can also do things like make use of additional solutions that rely on third-party settings. So in this case, we're using a date augmenter to provide add to calendar links. And we can see directly in the preview exactly how that's going to look, as well as make use of the additional configuration specifically for that solution. Now we can continue to sort of add additional elements. So we can add our where field. And in this case, we might want to use that as a rendered entity and then set that as card. And we can sort of continue to build that out, adding fields one by one, but we also want to make use of the power of Canvas to sort of put these elements into a layout here. So let's go ahead and add a section into our layout. Notice that by default, that's going to make a 2-column grid. So as an example, we can add our where field into there and notice that it's only taking up half the width. Maybe instead of putting only two things side by side, we want to nest some elements. So we can add another section here. And maybe we want to make this new one be just a single column so that we can put in our various elements. So we can add additional fields for things like our demo video. And let's go ahead and change that into rendered entity. And we'll leave that as default. In a similar way, we can add a field to display our supporting documents. In this case, showing those as labels linked to the reference entity is perfect. And maybe as a last step, we want to go ahead and add one more field, in this case to display our hero. And we can go ahead and say we want to hide the label. And we want to, again, make that a rendered entity. And in this case, we'll use the hero-wide view mode in our formatter. Now we can see we've got our hero in sort of the wide responsive image that we want. We've got our content displaying side by side in our layout. So let's go ahead and publish those changes. Now when we go back to our node display and refresh the page, we can see that layout that we've created within Canvas. And as well, we have additional capabilities like responsive images that make use of the image styles long a part of the robust image handling of Drupal, available within our Canvas layout, along with things like the ability to play videos and have multi-valued fields, making use of extended forms of media content. So that is our demo of the Canvas field component contrib module.